President Rodrigo Duterte agreed to sign the Paris climate deal. This after being assured that the ambitious contribution submitted by the Philippines to the United Nations can still be revised. Duterte on Monday signed the Instrument of Accession, a document signifying the country's intent to ratify the historic Paris Agreement on climate change. The Philippines' intended nationally determined contribution to the Paris Climate Pact states that the country intends to reduce its carbon emissions by 70% by the year 2030, provided there is aid from the international community. Climate Change Commission Vice Chairperson Vernice Victorio says this ambitious voluntary commitment was Duterte's main contention from the start.
When it was clarified that 70% can be changed, that was also like the big, parang it allowed him to finally say yes last year.
The CCC is now working to update the INDC with a more realistic version. The Instrument of Accession has been sent to the Senate for concurrence, the last step in the ratification process. Senator Lauren Legarda, who is set to sponsor the measure, says she expects the Senate to ratify the deal before session adjourns March 18. President Rodrigo Duterte will meet with jeepney drivers and operators who went on strike Monday. The drivers are protesting the government's plan to retire old public utility vehicles. Presidential spokesman Ernesto Abella says Duterte announced this during a recent meeting with labor groups. The transport strike led to the suspension of classes in areas in Metro Manila and affected thousands of commuters. The government's plan includes requiring operators to have at least 10 jeepneys and a minimum capital of 7 million pesos to keep their franchises. Abella says Duterte wants to meet with jeepney operators and drivers because their concerns are different from the concerns of the labor groups he met Monday. The Transportation Department said the phase-out is necessary to ensure the safety of PUVs on the road and to lower air pollution. Peter Laviña, President Rodrigo Duterte's campaign spokesman, is sacked as head of the National Irrigation Administration. Rappler sources say Duterte mentioned his decision to fire Laviña in a meeting with labor groups Monday. Two sources from labor groups quote Duterte as saying he fired Laviña for allegedly receiving 40% or a kickback from government contracts. Duterte supposedly emphasized how he doesn't tolerate corruption even among those close to him. A group of NIA directors met with Duterte in Panacan in Davao City last Thursday and told him about Laviña's supposed overtures to them. Panacan is also referred to as the Malacanang of the South. Laviña would allegedly call them and point out projects the regional office had and tell them, quote, "It's up to you to take care of me." This infuriated Duterte. But Cabinet Secretary Leoncio Evasco Jr. says Laviña resigned and wasn't sacked. Laviña confirms this in a Facebook post Wednesday. He denies corruption allegations and says he decided to resign to spare Duterte from the embarrassing stories. Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez says the Mining Industry Coordinating Council will finish reviewing the mining closures ordered by the Environment Department in 3 months. Dominguez co-chairs the MICC with Environment Secretary Gina Lopez. He adds at least 75 contracts will be reviewed aside from revisiting the mines. Lopez earlier ordered a closure and suspension of 28 mining operations in the country. Dominguez, who admits to working closely with mining companies in the past, says the TWG will ensure there were no lapses in the DNR's orders. Miners claimed the closure orders took them by surprise, but Lopez insisted she followed procedure when she ordered the closures. United States President Donald Trump, in his maiden speech to Congress Tuesday, hails the emergence of a new national pride while pushing for tough immigration enforcement as the key to delivering jobs and security at home. Trump reiterates his view to put America first, but has yet to translate his populist vision into legislative reality. Trump says, quote, "A new national pride is sweeping across our nation, and a new surge of optimism is placing impossible dreams firmly within our grasp." He also dares lawmakers to rally behind his plans to dramatically slash government spending, industrial regulation, and tax. Trump also vows to introduce a new merit-based immigration system to regulate new arrivals in the United States and reduce the flow of unskilled workers.